What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Tesla Geek Show. I am Anwar Beck.
And I'm Eli, and on this week's episode of the Tesla Geek Show, we are trying to talk about all of the things that us Tesla owners do to both protect and customize our Teslas. We have a very special guest joining us for that discussion that we'll introduce next.
This week's episode of the Tesla Geek Show is brought to you by Matt Home of the Home Team in Austin. Matt is one of the top realtors in the city of Austin, Texas. He's been in the real estate business for over 12 years, over 1,200 transactions under his belt. So if you want to buy or sell a house or invest in the city of Austin, this is the guy to call. Visit Matt at his website, thehometeamaustin.com. Matt, thank you so much for being a sponsor of the Tesla Geek Show.
All right. Let's jump into this. So Anwar Beck, please introduce on our guest this week.
Today, we have a very special guest, a good friend of the Tesla Geek Show, a good friend of mine, Mason. He's the general manager of XPEL in Austin. Welcome, Mason. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. This is going to be fun.
All right. I'm a little bit annoyed. Mason has higher quality video than we do, and I'm literally sitting in a with my HD camera, my ridiculous mic, and he's coming in crisper than I am. Something's wrong with this.
Shout out Samsung, I guess. I don't know.
All right, so let's get started, guys. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you've seen my adventures, my Tesla adventures with my Model 3 the past few weeks. So it's honestly, the Model 3 is my third Tesla. So I think we mentioned this on the podcast before. My first venture into the world of Tesla was 5-6 years ago when I bought my first Model S. I started kind of putting some accessories and all that kind of stuff, and then I switched to a Model X. Model X, I definitely did quite a bit, exchanged sports pedals and all that, but it wasn't until recently with my Model 3 that I really dived into the world of like protecting the paint on my Model 3, tinting it, putting accessories and all that, and that's where Mason and I met, and these guys have like, we'll talk about what we've done to my Model 3. But I totally thought, let's bring Mason on and just talk about, it seems like there are a lot of Tesla owners. Mason, I don't know if you see this to be true. I think Eli and I are very much in this dynamic, but a lot of Tesla owners, their Tesla is like the first luxury car that they've owned. A lot of my friends that are current Tesla owners went from like a Honda Accord or something like a mid-tier, usually a used vehicle. So the very first brand new Tesla that they've owned is usually a Tesla, either a Model 3. Now people are getting into Model Y. So I've seen this trend where more so than any other automotive brand, Toyota, BMW, even some of the more exotic cars, Tesla owners tend to be very enthusiastic and they like baby their vehicles, right? So as soon as they're buying their cars, a lot of people are doing PPF, the paint protection film. They're definitely tinting their vehicles. They're buying all sorts of accessories from Evanex and stuff.
So let's jump back to that real quick about the paint protection thing, right? And being a first-time owner of a really luxury vehicle that has a really beautiful paint job and clear coat. So one of the things that I learned when I got my Tesla is that really beautiful quality clear coats are also very soft, which meant if I didn't do something to my car, I was going to scratch the hell out of it. And the first couple months I had the car, I didn't do anything. I was like, oh, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. But then I slowly start seeing scratches appear. Even though I was doing the Junkman 2-bucket wash, like I was doing all the things right. It didn't matter. There started to be these light scratches. So my first car, I'd heard about the ceramic coating, getting a ceramic coating on the exterior of the car. I looked at doing a clear wrap. It was crazy expensive. I could barely afford the car at the time because that was my first fully loaded Model S. And I decided to go the ceramic route. And man, at that time, I was sure glad that I did because my paint would have not have survived some of the off-roading and other things that I did with that vehicle. But yeah, that's just what I did on my first gen car. But you just got your Model 3. And this is the first time I think you've done anything to protect the exterior. And I know you did that there with Mason at XPEL. So tell us about what you did with your new car. And we'll throw up a photo when I edit this.
Oh, definitely. So it's a crazy story, actually. The reason I showed up at XPEL is my Model 3 was just a few months old, and me being an idiot and overly excited, I tried to park the car and I cracked the front bumper. Okay, So I remember meeting some guys at XPEL a couple of years back. So I'm like, hey, let me go. These are friends of mine, like, let me go check it out. So Mason and I met for the first time there. He's the new general manager. And I came in thinking, oh, let me just like put a fake wrap around this bumper area to hide it, essentially, right? So then Mason meets me, and he's like, I walk in wanting a little $200 piece of tape and walked out fully wrapping my car and tinting it. That's a good salesman right there.
You also came in, like, you called me and said, hey, I scratched my bumper. Can we put some PPF over? And to be honest, sometimes, yeah, the PPF can kind of hide it. And I come out, I'm like, that's not a scratch. I can put my hand inside of that. I mean,
thing. It was cracked, dude. It was
absolutely cracked. I was trying to be all polite, but no, I'm sorry. You gotta go somewhere. Thankfully, we've got a paint and body guy. I recommended you over to him. He did a phenomenal job with that. And then it's, yes, let's protect this against the other stuff. But
so basically Mason put it in my head then. I wasn't honestly thinking about paint protection or tinting the car or even chrome delete at this point. And then when he started kind of talking to me about it, like pitching basically why I should do it to my vehicle and all that, I was like, oh, okay, that's actually a really cool idea. That's when we basically started going down that route. So it took about a week and a half. I fixed the front bumper, and ProTech, dude, these guys did an amazing job. Basically made it look like new. And then a couple of weeks ago, I was actually going on a trip with my wife. We drove to Salt Lake City, and I knew I didn't need my car for about a week. So then I hit up Mason. I was like, hey, dude, I'm going to drop my car off with you. Let's go ahead and do this. So what we ended up doing is so I've got a standard range Model 3 pearl white exterior with a black interior. So with the recommendation of Expel, what we ended up doing is doing a stealth PPF wrap the entire vehicle. So essentially any part that's colored, we did a wrap on. We did a 35% tint all the way across, even on the front windshield as well, right, Mason? There's a clear wrap.
Yeah, it
was
the same tint film, but a different shade level. It was basically clear.
Okay. And then they ended up doing a chrome delete as well, dude. And their chrome delete guys are next level, dude. You know how on the Model 3, the handles come out all weird and it's all this? They wrap like all of it, dude. I've seen chrome deletes done on Model 3s, and this was like just next level stuff. So Mason, maybe you can – so I wasn't there when you guys were doing all this. Maybe you can walk our listeners through kind of a high level. What are things that happen? And I think the best – time to bring in a car is when you basically like take delivery of the vehicle, right? To try to drive it straight off the lot essentially and into Expel.
For multiple reasons. I mean, we all know of Tesla's superior paint quality and lack of issues there. So one of the reasons it's best to bring in any car immediately is you reduce the exposure to debris and rock chips and all that. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, when we take in any car, we look over it. We make sure there's no defects. They're going to come up, like scratches in the front splitter. And then if there's anything that needs to be fixed, we'll talk to customers and say, hey, you might want to get this touched up. You want to take this back to the dealership before it's too late. So that's another element that comes into play. We had a Model Y that came in. Front bumper was a slightly different color. He went back to Tesla, got it fixed. He's coming in next week to get the job done. So that's part of the reason you want to bring it in. But for you and your car, stealth is unique, right? It's the stealth film diffuses the light. It just removes the gloss. If you have a blue Tesla, it'll be a satin blue. When it's done red, satin red. It's not a vinyl. It's not a color change. It just takes that gloss away. But because of that, it catches the eye a little bit more. It stands out from the crowd a little bit more. So I know you, with your other roles in the community around here, you wanted something that caught attention, that was a conversation starter for both your real estate and also for the Tesla Owners Club relationships you have. So that's why I recommend the Stealth. It's going to give you the full protection. It has some self-healing properties. It's going to protect it against rock chips and all of that stuff. It's not for everyone, but for you, I think it looked great, especially with the chrome delete that you mentioned. That was a great package on it.
Eli, so you mentioned with your first car, you just did a ceramic coat. That was Starship version 1 or 0. That wasn't even Starship. I don't know, I think most of our listeners know a bit about your current P100D Raven, top of the line, cream of the crop, Model S, the quickest vehicle in the world, which is your daily driver right now. What are things that you've done with it? Because I've seen tons of photos on Instagram and stuff, and I've been in that vehicle. It's legit the baddest vehicle in the world.
So my first car, which was the Geek Ship, that one I did
the Geek Ship.
Yeah. That one I did a ceramic coat on. But then the Starship, I decided pretty much immediately when getting it that like this needed to be Starman's car. And I ultimately realized that the best way to do that was make it to look like the Starship. Now, granted, this was like 6 months before Cybertruck came out. I had no idea Tesla was going to be making a Mars rover as a future Tesla utility vehicle we were going to be able to buy. So I went with a wrap. I was thinking about doing a clear wrap, but then I was like, wait, if I'm going to spend $4,000 or $5,000 on a wrap, I might as well go with something that's going to deck out the car and do it right. So I went with 3M's brushed steel. I took it to a shop. It took them like literally a full week to do it. Like they had to rewrap multiple panels a number of times because of the texture of it. If they made any mistake, panel had to be redone. You can't buff out a brush textured wrap. So I didn't have the car for a week. It came out and man, it looked phenomenal. Like it looked like a completely different car. It's crazy how much the matte wrap will like change the look and the angles. Like it's a completely looking different beast. And I love having it because like I have permanent paint protection now via this wrap. Washing it is a little interesting. I'm terrified to ever touch this thing. So I only do touch-free drive-through car washes, which I'll tell you what is actually a huge upgrade for me because I used to have to spend once or twice a month going out doing a 2-bucket wash that took 2 or 3 hours and having to blow dry the damn car at the end. So having it wrapped and just going through drive-through or power washing it is fantastic. Can't tell you how much of a lifesaver that's been.
So what else have you done in addition? So the entire car is like this brushed steel look. So it looks like Starship essentially or Cybertruck.
Yeah, it looks like space.
What about the chrome? Did you do a chrome delete or is it the same color as the?
So I put some carbon fiber accents covering up the autopilot housings. Okay. I've got some carbon fiber accents on the flat part of the door handles. It does still have the chrome.
Is that from Evanex?
I got those from Evanex, yeah.
Awesome.
Which, by
I've
the way,
seen those.
I got to get a new set because my friend Ryan from Kilowatts, we were filming a video and I just put him on. And he's like, "Oh man, can we take him off for the video?" And he broke one.
Oh no!
Taking him off. So you owe me a new set, bro.
Shout out to Kilowatts, I guess.
Yeah, what's up, Kilowatts? Yeah.
That's funny.
So I'm been thinking about chrome deleting for a while. I'm still going back and forth. I am gonna switch at some point to a set of OEM black arachnids, I think. And then nice. Probably the most exciting thing I added was the Evanex lighted T to the back. It's sad. It's like my favorite accessory that I get to enjoy the least out of everyone else. Because I only see it when I get out of my car, put it in park, or like when I'm walking away. But it looks so sick. The lighted up T looks like way better than I expected. Even the install shop that did it for me, when I came to pick up my car, they're like, "Dude, you need to come see this. This looks really cool."
Dude, I just got mine in the mail yesterday. So shout out to Matt from Evanex. Thank you guys for sending that out. I cannot wait. Basically what Eli's talking about is that on the rear of your car, that the Tesla T emblem, they've made like a lighted version of that connects directly to the brake light. So you install it on there. So when you press the brake, not only do your brake lights come on, but that Tesla T lights up. I mean, it's like, I think you truly have Starship now with that Tesla lit T. Like that kind of makes it. And then Evanex actually sells a disco ball. That's the only thing missing is you got to plug in your USB disco ball. Do you have one of those?
I have them. I haven't tried them yet, but I know my daughter's gonna love it.
Oh man. So that's Eli's adventure and. I'm new to this stuff. This all happened. I picked up my car from Expel a couple of days ago. And I'll tell you guys my initial reaction. So I left the car for a week while I was out of town. I come in and I legit, Mason, do you remember? We walked up to the car. I was like, dude, where's my car?
I was trying to hide your reaction because we were doing a little video of it. And you snuck a peek through the window. And that was your true reaction. Your just kind of speechlessness there.
Dude. Me, speechless. Eli, does that say everything? I'm never speechless, and I'm just like,
I've never seen
mouth down.
I've heard about it once, but I've never seen it.
Mouth down. I walk up to my car, and I'm like, bro, where's my car? He's like, dude, this is it. the thing I didn't realize, again, what sold me on the PPF wrap was just like the protection, longevity, protecting the paint, and like, hey, this is a big investment for me. I really want to protect it. But I did not expect the car to look 10 times better. And I've got, like, if you guys are out there listening, my car started out as that $35,000 base standard model. Off menu, right? You have to call Tesla to tell them, hey, I don't want the SR Plus. I want the lower end one. And I didn't realize the stealth wrap, which is what Mason was explaining. It kind of makes it look like this like matte white, right? But the sparkles from the pearl white still shine. Dude, like I saw lines that like I didn't know Model 3 had. Like I was walking around the car. Yeah. Go ahead, Mason.
The gloss is going to hide some of those lines or disguise those lines when you're looking at it normally. So when you take that gloss away, it's just the design that you're seeing. So yeah, there's that crease on the upper going towards the back hip of the car that I think you're talking about that stands out more. It allows the contrast that's there to stand out more. And he's right. When you look at it, get up close, the metallic flake still comes through. It's still that white. You just don't have that gloss. So the contrast is there. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yours, and with the blackout, it looks really, really clean.
And I think it's a combination of the chrome delete, I think, with the right tint job, as well as that stealth. To me, like, I'm giddy. Like, kid before Christmas morning, I keep staring at my car still. Like, every time I walk out to my car, I'm like, damn, dude. Like, that's a good feeling. It almost felt like a refresh. Like I just own this new vehicle.
If you think about it, that's kind of the point of PPF, right? And you spoke about it earlier when we talked about Tesla owners coming to get in the car PPF. You're absolutely right. You look at the Model 3, especially the Model Y as well. After cost of ownership, you're competing with Camrys, right? Or even better than that. So you have someone that came from a Camry, and no one buys a Tesla because they saw a commercial on TV for a Labor Day sale or something like that. No one was convinced by a salesperson, 0% down or any of that stuff. They chose that because of the community, because of the car, because of the company, whatever reason it is. So they're coming from something that, frankly, is usually pretty passionless and join a community like the Tesla Owners Club. And they have a fan base now. They have passion. They have car meets. This is new to them. So even though it's a $35,000 car, I see the same passion and enthusiasm that I see in Corvettes, Porsches, Ferraris, even more sometimes, because some of those are just garage queens. These people love their cars. So they want to get it protected. They want to get window tint because the windows are everywhere on it. And what you're talking about looks like a new car. If you got the clear gloss, it's always going to look like a new car. That's the idea, is that you don't have scratches and dings and other stuff coming up. It's always perfect.
Yep. And you were mentioning car meetups and stuff. I know in your past life, before you joined Expel, you used to work with the Circuit of Americas, which is the only F1 track in America. Can you mention a little bit about what you did there? And you're no stranger to exotic cars and racing and all that. It sounds like you've been a car guy for a while.
I've been a car enthusiast for as long as I can remember. I've got a white MX-5 right now with Cybertruck on order.
There you go.
It's in my blood. So I was deployed in 2017. As soon as I got back, I found a job over at Circuit Americas. I've been a season ticket holder since 2013, so it's been going there for a long time. Weirdly enough, I was one of the only car enthusiasts that actually worked there. Everyone else is business or sports or something like that. So when we adopted Cars and Coffee Austin, I made a point to get involved with that and ended up kind of overseeing the execution of the day of. We ended up having, before all the current situation with COVID, we ended up having over 1,000 show cars show up. That doesn't include the other spectators and families and other stuff that show up just to look at the cars. Actual cars coming into the show lot was over 1,000 cars on a given Cars and Coffee Sunday. It was great. And what I loved most about it was seeing the enthusiasm. I remember one time we had 12 Dodge Ram pickups drive up, not lifted, not lowered, just that's a Dodge Ram pickup. And it was, okay. I mean, I don't necessarily care for it. That's just me, but you do. You are enthusiastic about your car. And Teslas would show up as well. There's just so much passion, and they park there. And I had them park I had an American Muscle section, and then I had a Classics in front of that. So I put the Teslas right next to it because, hey, that's an American Muscle as far as I'm concerned. It can
That's true.
that's a straight line.
Totally is the new American Muscle. Yeah.
Yeah, and so even to that point, like we're talking about the straight line acceleration. When the Smart Summon feature came out, there was 2 Tesla Model 3s that showed up, and they both had that Smart Summon.
Mhm.
And I had a wild hair idea towards the end of the event while most of the cars are gone. Let's do a drag race. Just in the parking lot, no cars ahead, with no drivers. So both the drivers got out, and they got on their phones, and the cars lined up, and they took off. I think it might have been the first autonomous drag race.
That's
And it was
awesome.
it was not fast. Both the cars were polite and just like, oh, no, you go first. No, you go first. But it's great. I mean, the passion there is excellent. And I still see that here working at Expel. The Teslas keep on coming in. And with Tesla increasing their sales, I'm getting more and more. A lot of Model Ys recently. I hear a lot of people, hey, I'm getting my car in September. I want to go ahead and call now, see what the options are. It's
Wow.
always at least a full front, maybe a whole car, sometimes a stealth. Most of the time, it's definitely some window tint because I'm in Texas. It's hot. It's probably over 100 degrees outside. So, yeah, onward back. Tell me about how you like the window tint in your car. You got the XR Black, which reduces heat by up to 88%. We got another one that does up to 98%. But how are you liking that tint right now?
Just in the 2 or 3 days. So I can tell you exact numbers because I used to look at my car from I can see the internal temperature, right? Because I always try to turn on my AC when I'm on my way to the car. My car used to read over 110 on any given day. This is Texas, Austin, Texas heat, dude. At one point, I've seen 120 internal temperature. Now it doesn't exceed 95 ever.
That's
I'm
incredible.
talking like it can be out in the middle of the sun. Like I've been doing this. And again, like this is something I do daily. I've never seen it above 95 the last 2-3 days. And I leave my car. I do real estate, dude. I'm always in my car. I leave it out there. And it's and before I used to wait maybe like 10 minutes for the car to cool down because you're trying to take it from 110 plus down to 65. That's what I normally put it to because I want that thing blasting when I get into it all sweaty. And now it takes 2 minutes, where before it used to take me like 10 plus minutes. That's what I've noticed. Does that sound in line with what the expectations, Mason?
No, absolutely. And so when we say it blocks up to 98% of the heat or up to 88%, most high quality films are going to block UV, 99% UV. If you're at any reputable place, they're going to be blocking 99% of the UV. Now it comes into how well you're blocking the rest of the IR and TSAR heat that's coming into the car. The glass is still going to get hot. And a lot of people think, oh, my car's not going to get hot. No, it's a metal box in Texas. It's going to get hot. There's nothing that's going to stop that.
Yeah.
But it helps. And then as you're driving, it's not getting hot. The car's not having to work as hard. I'm really curious if you see your range improve with the car not having to work as hard to keep it cool as well. But the one thing we did on your car was the windshield. A lot of people don't think about getting the windshield because it's clear and it needs to be clear. Legally, it has to be clear. But we have some films that are virtually transparent that we can put on the front windshield. And we're talking about specifically the Model 3 and the Model Y, where they brought in that windshield closer to the driver. It's a massive windshield right there in front of the dash, especially that new dash, right? It's hot. That is one of the biggest pieces that has the biggest effect. So you put that XR or XR Plus film on there, you're reducing the heat quite a bit. The Model 3 as well with that back windshield right over the passengers' heads. Yeah, kind of a necessity.
Glad. I originally was like, Mason, nah, we don't need it on the windshield. He goes, bro, you got to put it on there. Now I understand what you're saying. You're right. Because when I'm sitting there, most of the light and the heat is probably coming from that front windshield. It's made a night and day difference.
My car.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
On my front windshield.
Is there, Mason, is there an Expel in San Francisco, Sacramento area?
So what we do is I'm at the corporate store in Austin. We've got corporate stores off the top of my head, just in the United States. You've got Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Vegas, Boise. But there's Expel Independents. There's even some in Austin that we provide the film, we provide services. They're trained down here at headquarters. So you have shops over there that sell the Expel film. Absolutely. I mean, we're a global company. We have places all over the world that are selling this film. So that's not a problem. As far as corporate stores, Vegas might be your closest, but or just come on down to Austin and I'll get you taken care of.
There you go. Dude, you really do need to. I mean, he will be here eventually to come
Next road
visit
trip to Austin,
Giga,
I'll take him on
Texas.
it. Yeah.
We'll leave
Yeah, you
your
got a new
card
factory coming
expel.
down here.
Yeah, we'll leave your card expel. You can drive around with me, to, Eli. What was I thinking about? So
I don't know how I feel about slumming it in your car, bro.
Ouch. I
It's
love
gonna be
my
cool.
car.
That's how
I
it's gonna
love my
feel.
car.
I'm just
I
teasing.
love my car.
Model 3s are amazing, dude.
What I was the other reason, to be honest, there are other people in Austin that do PPF wraps. The reason I know Expel has an amazing reputation, and what drew me to Expel, to be honest, why I even went there originally is I know they make their own. That Expel, they're the manufacturers of the wrap, right? The PPF.
Yeah. So, and more than that. So our headquarters is down in San Antonio. We train our employees there, certified and trained by some top-notch expert installers. That's tint, that's film, that's the ceramic coating. It's all that stuff. But you're right. We actually have a design team that goes around the world finding new cars down to the smallest trim. It's not just Ford F-150. It's Ford F-150 XLT, King Grant trim, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And they plot out and design in the CAD system the body panel pieces for the car. So then here at our shop, we have our film, which comes from HQ. We load it into the plotter. It cuts it out perfectly. So on your car, we're not having to put this huge thing there and then take a knife to it. It's just aligning it appropriately, tucking in the edges where we can. And, I mean, you said it yourself. You looked over the car. You can't find the edges. That's how it's designed to be. And that's the worst thing with the clear gloss. I can't show it off because you can't see it. At least with the stealth, you can see that there's something different on.
Eli, the day after I picked it up, I was in a rush. Like when I picked it up, I like quickly got it. And then I called Mason the next day. I'm like, bro, I spent like an hour. I parked it in the shade, right? In a parking garage. And I finally had some time to like, I literally inch by inch, like opened the doors. And I was like, oh my God. I like it looked really clean, but I didn't realize the amount of work. And like, I mean, these are like, it's like artistic what these guys are doing. The way it's being wrapped and all that. I'm just like, oh my God. I didn't realize like the creases and all this. I opened the front trunk and all this. You don't realize how much work it takes. Actually, yesterday I had a even better example. So Matt from Evanex, when I first got my car as a congratulations, he sent me a few items from Evanex, one of which was that the wrap for the center console area, the piano black. So that's been sitting in my house. I'm like, eventually I'm going to put it on there. And Eli, on the Model 3, dude, that piano black, on the Model Y as well, you look at that thing and stains appear. Like, it is like a magnet for fingerprints and everything. It's just, I mean, it looks good when it's clean, but when you use it daily, it just like, it looks messy and it shows so easily. So I finally decided, I went to Expel and I was like, Mason, I'm going to do this myself. I remember I walked in there. I'm like, bro, give me a cleaner and a towel. He's like, are you sure? He's like,
I warned you.
let me have one of my guys do this for you. I'm like, no, I got it. How hard can it be? True story. I walk into my car. I spray it down. I clean it all good. I couldn't do like the simplest little, I'm like, the expertise required to do these wraps, like I understood firsthand. I struggled with it for 30 minutes and then I had to throw the piece away and I was like, Mason, I'm like, please help me. I was like, I'll come back in an hour.
I would never even think about doing a DIY wrap because here's what would happen. I would spend the money on the DIY wrap. I would end up throwing that DIY wrap away and then going to a shop to pay for it anyway.
Exactly. No, dude, there's a lot of skill required, guys. Like I know it firsthand. I wouldn't never attempt the actual wrap myself, the PPF, but I thought, oh, it's internal. It's one of these internal pieces. And it was pre-cut. Evanex sent me this thing. It's kind of like pre-cut for this thing. And even that, I really, really struggled with it. But I will, if you guys follow me on Instagram, Super Tesla Geeks, go check out. I've got some pictures of my car. I'll have to take some pictures of the internals too. Interior, exterior, everything just looks so clean. So again, Mason, Expel Austin, thank you guys so much, dude. Kind of as we wrap up, maybe go ahead and explain to there's two things I'm curious about. Number one, walk us through that process. As you guys were doing this, I wasn't there. I think you guys filmed some of it. What's the hardest part of doing the wrap or the tint on the vehicle for you guys? I know there's a lot of technical things required. And then maybe as you do that, give us, I know you can't give exact pricing. And I know you were telling me before the podcast, you have a special discount code for our listeners, which is awesome. But before you announce that, give us like, what is the most challenging part of doing the wrap? And also if you can give us like ballpark numbers about if you did a front wrap, if you did just the first half of the car, if you did a full, like a PPF wrap, just what ballpark people are at. And then if you can finish off by talking about the discount that Expel Austin is willing to offer our listeners, that'd be awesome.
No, absolutely. So the most challenging part of any film install is as soon as it lays down on the car. It's one of those parts is not necessarily a skill thing, but a precision and expertise. When you come in, we're going to look around your car. We're going to make sure there's any defects or anything like that. The car needs to be in good shape because if it's a clear gloss film, it's going to enhance whatever's there. So if you have a little rock chip, it might even look out more. So we can touch up some of these things, but there are issues we've had in the past. Hey, go get that taken care of them, come back, and we'll get this fixed up. Car comes in, and then we're going to do a prep. We're going to clean it. We're going to prep it, clay bar, get all of the contaminants off of the car. Here in Austin, we've got over 8,000 square feet. We've got 3 lifts. It's all lit. That's pretty key to this process and leads into the next part. Just when you're putting that film on, it needs to be clean. So I already mentioned the plot area cuts out the film. We separate it from the backing, do all that stuff. And then when it's going on the car, there's some solutions that we put to help the film move around before it truly adheres. But if there's dust on the car and you put that film on, you're not going to know until a little bit later in the process. So it's absolutely key that everything's clean, everything's perfect. You line it up there, and then that's where their training comes in. You know, the stretching here, the pulling there. And then you just squeegee out the slip and solution that's underneath the film. The film adheres to it. If it's clear gloss, you're not going to know it's on there. I love walking back there, checking on the guy's work. I'm like, hey, have you started on this bumper yet? It's like, no, it already has film on it. Like, love it. I love that stuff. And then there's some little touch-ups here and there. You want to let the film sit on some edges, so you let the film learn its place. You got to remember that paint protection film is 8 to 10 mils thick. To put that in perspective, vinyl is 2 mils thick, 2 to 3 mils thick. So this is over twice as thick as vinyl. So while vinyl does have some paint protection, it's nothing like what paint protection film has. Plus, it's specifically designed for it, so self-healing properties and all that stuff. Being that thick, it doesn't want to go over edges. So vinyl, you can move it. It's pliable. You can tuck it into stuff. With PPF, you're going to go up to the edge, and the design is cut right there on the radius. So you can see some of the stuff, but it's designed to be right there on that edge. So it's protected, but it's not going to lift, because that's what happens if you tuck it in there. It's not going to want to be there. It's going to lift up. So we let the film kind of learn its new form and let it kind of sit. You work on the rest of the car. For tint, a lot of the same stuff. Really, the skill comes from our guy. He's done some amazing cars that are notoriously hard for tint, and the film is great to work with as well. Ceramic coating, kind of same thing. You want to make sure that the car is clean, because if you have paint swirls, that's going to be enhanced by this stuff. So you want it to be clean. We do some paint correction on the car, some prep to get it perfect. Even new cars need it. I know everyone says, oh, no, I just bought it. It's like even Ferraris need some paint correction and paint prep.
Mason, yesterday I was watching my buddies. These guys are amazing, by the way. Shout out to Chris and Evan. They were working on this car, dude. Eli, I thought it was brand new, and the way they were washing, like I saw dirt coming out of this brand new car. It's amazing. Like to my eyes, I'm like, why are you guys washing this thing? It's brand new. It looked like it came out of the factory. But the way they're washing it, like if you see the dirt that comes out of your vehicle, we think we clean vehicles, but the way they're doing it, I mean, it's like a super detail.
Yeah.
And so clean, another thing when you're going to wrap over it. So I can't even imagine.
Yes,
no, yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely right. And thankfully with paint protection film, the paint swirls kind of get hidden. The film fills in some of those gaps. So if you have paint swirls, it'll hide some of that stuff. But the hardest part is definitely when you're laying that film on there, it needs to be clean, needs to be perfect. Then it's just your training kicks in and you're working away. You watch these guys, it's magic. They make it look easy. And then you just let it sit and you let it learn, fix things as needed. We'll redo a piece if we need to. Our goal is to get it as close to perfection as possible. Because in my mind, paint protection film is preserving perfection. That's how I see it. But yeah, so as far as pricing, I mean, the most common, let's just talk Teslas. The most common thing I see, window tint, definitely. We have more window tint films. I normally recommend the XR or the XR Plus just because they have up to 98, up to 98% heat rejection. I see no reason to go with something less, at least if you live in Texas. Mm-hmm. For paint protection film, the full front is most common. We got a partial front, but it leaves half the hood unprotected. I'd say just go all the way. We'll tuck it around the hood. Full front is really common. On the Model Ys, you want to get the rocker panels protected. Something about the road height or the raised height, it just kicks up some debris up there.
No, it's not that, dude. I think the tires, Eli, have you heard of this? I think Sean Mitchell covered in their video. The wheel on the Model Y is a bit like outside or something, like the width of it. So that throws road debris, and I've heard from people that the side of the Model Y gets really jacked up if you don't protect it because of that.
I had heard.
Yeah, so that's one thing I always recommend. If it's a Model Y, I say get the full front and the rocker panels. Mm-hmm. And then obviously a full car comes in every once in a while. Full car is a little bit more of a commitment. It's obviously more expensive. It takes more time. It takes several days for us to complete a full car because we're wrapping every single painted edge on that thing. If we're talking window tint, we can knock that out in a day. Full front, we can knock that out in a day. Now, pricing is going to be all over the place in the nation and the world. So listeners, disclaimer.
Just call you for prices. Yeah.
But you're looking at, I mean, $1,000, $2,000, something like that for a full front. And I'm talking paint protection places overall, not just Expel. So $1,000, $2,000 for the full front. You're looking at 6, 7, 8,000 for a full car, no matter what car it is. That's kind of the range you should be looking at. Window tint, you're looking at, I don't know, 400, 600, 700 for the whole car, depending on what car, how many windows it is. Model X, for example, that front windshield, that's a pain. That's a lot of tint, and that gets hard to do. But you're right. So I've got a discount code I want to throw out to the Tesla Geeks listeners. We're going to do 15% off on all services here at Expel Austin. So I can't speak for the other Expel locations, but here at Expel Austin, you come in, you call in, you mention the Tesla Geeks show, we'll give you 15% off all the services that we have. So that's paint protection film, that's window tinting, that's ceramic coating, that's whole car, partial. Yeah, we'll get you taken care of on that stuff.
And we'll put show notes below with the website and Mason's information. Mason, if you don't mind, we'll just put your direct contact info. Our listeners can contact you directly, and you can get them taken care of. Treat them like family. Dude, this was so much fun. Number one, huge thank you to Expel of Austin for treating me like family, for taking care of my car. Like I said, I'm in awe. I'm so glad I did it. It's been multiple days, and I still, like, every time I go out, I'm like, I can't believe this is my vehicle. It just looks so amazing. And knowing that it's protected, it's a 10-year warranty on the PPF too. Like,
yeah,
that's amazing,
that's a good point.
Dude.
You've got a 10-year warranty on the film, and you've got a lifetime warranty on the window tint. And through us, that's labor and the product itself. So any yellowing, chipping, cracking, lifting, bubbling, if it's not behaving the way it should be behaving, bring it back. We're going to take it in. You can take it to any Expel store. So if you end up going over to Vegas and you realize that's not the way it's supposed to be, they'll get you taken care of over there.
That's awesome, dude. Thank you so much. Eli, do you have anything before we wrap up?
No, man. I just want to say, love what you guys are doing. If you're a Tesla owner and you're taking delivery of a vehicle, absolutely be looking at what you're going to do to protect the paint. Because what I see a lot of people do, and I made the mistake of doing with my first one, I had it for a couple months, and then I went, oh, shit, now it's time to go do it. And I already had some scratches. So there's options. If you don't want to spend the money on full PPF, you can do partial. You can ceramic coat. There's a number of things you can do, but do something to protect your paint. And for God's sakes, don't be one of those Tesla owners who drives through the brush, not the brushless, the brush car washes and say, I don't know why people flip out about this. It's like, look, if you have a nice thing, take care of it, or don't, whatever. But I think you're stupid if you go through a brush car wash.
Hear, hear.
Yeah, man.
Well, Mason, thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of the Tesla Geek Show. And to everybody out there, thank you so much for watching.